BLASTMUSIC247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hola, 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 what's good? Ooh, I'm looking at this magical lag. Hey, you guys, welcome to SXP MetaMorphosis 365. It's about that time. Welcome to episode 40. I'm closing everything just in case. Let me make sure we got that young audio. Can you hear I said the cat? Let me know in the chat. Okay, awesome. That's what's up. Hey, y'all, happy new year. How you feeling? We're going to kick it off like we always do with gratitude. It is a simple Tuesday. I am so grateful. I'm thankful to God for this belly. When I tell y'all it was Taco Tuesday around here, and I made some bomb tacos and burritos, and I hope you had a wonderful Tuesday as well. Thank you to BLAST Music247 for hosting me as a podcast home. It's freaking amazing around here. Like, I love podcasting. It's so fun. It's so new. And same time, I am big enjoying myself. And my Spider-Man bag arrived. Yay. Okay. So thank you to Veep for just being an amazing human. That's the VP. If you guys are artists and you'd like to have your music and talent, your audio and visual talent shared right here on Blast in our podcast, go to blastmusic247.com. And actually, I got this mystical, magical, pretty QR code. Let me pop that up while we talk about this, because you can go to that QR code, use that. Go to BLASTMUSIC247. Not only connect there, become a member so you can access all the good stuff. And then also, after you've accessed, and if you are an artist, load your stuff up so we can share it too and get the exposure that you need for your offerings and awesomeness. Okay, great. So I did want to share that. Let me put that away. Y'all, I hope y'all had a wonderful transition into the new year. I heard a big boop sound, and it was a fun boop sound. It definitely is the sound of my one of my guests popping in. One of my beloved guests. Hey, let's get it. Getting some ambiance, some fun stuff. So tonight we're having this conversation on peace, progress, position, and in the title it's got action. We're going to talk about the actions of it, because everything if you don't have action behind the things that you are doing, what exactly are you doing, love? Talking about it, thinking about it, dreaming about it. And that's wonderful, because we need to do all of those things. But at the same time, if you got no action, you kind of wasting time. Let's say like that. That's a polite way, wasting time. So let's not waste time in anything that we do is important. Time is it's wonderful. It's one of our highest commodities, right? It matters where you put it. We are going to talk about access. We're going to throw access in there with the action. Tonight, I have two amazing folks coming to have this conversation with me. They have not been prepared, so it's going to be on the real and the raw. And they're going to share with us just heart perspective and mind perspectives of the things we fit to talk about. I'm going to leave it like that. Their peace, their progress, their position, and the access points in the action. So I won't belabor the point, but I will say thank you to Sunshine Cromwell of Shine Vibrations. And I encourage you guys to tap in with every podcast that occurs on the platform. And you go to Blast Music 247 or Blast Channel on YouTube and follow it. Also, hop on over to mine, Melikia K, Courtney. You see the spelling right there in the banner. And follow that too. Over there, you'll find a few more things that you're not going to find on Blast from me. But definitely click in, check in. I'm going to run this real quick. And then I'm going to pop it off and we're going to get to our conversation. All right, first up is first on deck, Mr. Scott Harrow, Father Time, one of my favorite guests, a returning guest. We've been hanging out. I don't like your background. It's really cool. How are you?
I'm well. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. And I think you're in and out a little bit.
You hear me?
I heard you say you hear me, and whatever you said after that went far, far away. So while you're adjusting your audio, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my other loved one. Hi, my loves.
Hello.
Hi, Flynn. Okay, and you guys, this is Dallas Cohen. What I'm going to do is allow everybody to introduce themselves, let the people know where they can connect with you, tell the people what you do, and then we'll pop it from there. So, ladies first.
Oh, well, hello. My name is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach. I coach high-achieving women of faith who've experienced betrayal or trauma or abuse, or domestic violence, anything thereof, and who want to reclaim territory in their relationship with themselves. I can be reached at thereboundcoach.com or on socials, Facebook, YouTube, The Rebound Coach.
Bang, bang. Thank you very much. And then, sir, I say, sir.
Do you hear me now a little bit better?
I hear you better.
Okay, I put in the headphones. Name is Scott Harrell, also known in the poetry community as Father Time, co-founder of Partners in Rhyme. But on my day-to-day, I am the CEO and founder of Harrell Consulting Group, a business consulting firm specializing in business funding businesses that are expanding, startups, or asset acquisition, or bringing product to market. We're the bridge to your business tomorrow.
Y'all so grown. I love that when I ask you, I'm for real. Y'all so grown. I can ask you what you do and how the people can connect with you, and you be like, boom, here it is. It's no loops and ring around the rosies. And now, for you guys who are new to me, I'll explain what I do in a bit. And I can also just say ditto to what Dallas said, because we do it together. Yay!
Yay!
Please, my bestie, my business bestie, right here on with me. And man, Scott and I got like two of my besties right here. Like these are my two besties on the screen. Okay, great. So let us go ahead and get into this conversation. Ready for the dirt? The dirt. Hold on, I seen a comment. Let me make sure it's good. Carla, hey, lovey bubby. How are you, beautiful? It's good to see you. So, what had happened was Mystical Magical iPhone, for whatever reason, saw fit. Let's say it like that. I'm going to pause that so we don't have a drag. When I clean my iPhone out, it doesn't matter how much I clean my iPhone out. It doesn't matter how many videos I delete. It doesn't matter how many text messages I delete. And I have to be fair and say that I do business through my phone mostly, and then my computer. When I tell you both of them acting out right now, but okay. So I be on a compliant team, and I delete. Now this is what I find after I do all my mystical magical deleting, and I'm feeling great because I've deleted so much, and I have space and room for activities. Well, I go to sleep, and I wake up to gifts. I wake up to gifts from iPhone. Today's gifts were about 150 messages, 150 threads loaded back to my phone from 2021. And I'm like, I deleted these. Like, I deleted them. Stuff that I deleted is back. Like Star Wars. And I'm just like, I didn't request this. I didn't ask for this. I don't even want this. Smoke. Because some of the stuff was smoke. Now let's add the other bookend. The bookend for the beginning of the morning was a conversation with God. I don't know about y'all, but I had them conversations with God like first thing. And I had said to God, this was before I even noticed that particular stuff was there, right? Or let me say it this way. There were 3 particular threads that popped up that I was just like, ugh. I want to touch it. I want to see it. I want to taste it. So apparently I had to have this conversation with God because it came back. And I'm like, that's a long time ago. Dave Chappelle is in my head laughing, singing that song while he bumped the table doing Tupac, but that's how it feels. Long time ago. All right. The conversation I had with God was the behavior of these certain humans. I felt like their behaviors disrupted my peace, disrupted my progress, like halted my progress, removed my position, and denied my access, right? So the conversation I was having with God was like, then I give it to you. It's on you to restore all of the above. Is this making any sense? Can you relate to any of that thought process? Like, have you experienced a moment, and you guys can answer as you will, have you experienced that moment where you felt like your peace was under attack, your progress was being halted, your position was freaking removed, and your access, like the access that you earned, damn it, was being denied? And what actions did you take? So whoever want to catch that first, go for it.
Ladies first, please.
Yes to the second question. Have I had that experience? Yes. What I will back up and say, when I heard you describing it, the first thought was like, man, that's a lot of power for that person to hold. And the question really becomes, is it real? Like, does that person really hold that power? Did I give that person that power? Because yes, I've been in a place where I felt like someone definitely disturbed the peace, but also blocked me. And now that I think about it, there's more than one situation where I felt like, man, that person is blocking my progress. That person is denying my access. But from this vantage point, maybe I gave that up.
Okay. I appreciate the peek and I appreciate the insight. It's definitely it's an entry point of perspective. You know what I mean? And I love the thought of it. Did I give that up? And I think that when people find themselves experiencing that moment of clarity concerning whatever situation it is, that's the question that comes. Whose power? Whose power is it? And then how do you protect your peace? Right? And I'm one to I believe in measuring progress. Don't tell me you progress and you can't measure it, and tell me you can't show me that you've progressed. Show me your progress. You know, got to be some movement, A to B, something. So how do you measure your progress? And I drop my keys along with conversation. So if whoever paying attention, pay attention. You feel me? So go ahead. I heard you ready to talk? Go ahead, say it. I'll tell the rest after that.
I'm not here to cut you off, but no, I'm agreeing with you and knowing that you're dropping keys while you're talking. So I'm ready when you are.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll finish that thought. So that being the point, like, how do you measure and protect your progress? And then your position. I find that people have positions just like employment. You take a job, you have that title, you have that space, right? And you feel secure in your role. This is my role. Like when I was in an LEO or working behavioral health or doing sales, that was my role. That was my title. I was XYZ-er, right? And then when that title was removed, like there's a moment of clarity on who gave you that title, which speaks to identity, right? So I'm just dropping those down and I'm going to leave it right there and go back to you, sir. I'm listening.
I've had this happen to me multiple times in my life, to the point of rerun. You know, it not only with jobs, but with life itself. Yeah. And it got to the point where, like with reruns, I had to ask myself, am I going to change the channel? Am I going to, you know, what do I need to do here? Because I'm tired of being in the same situation again and again. Found myself getting a job, loving a job, and that job being the thing,
right?
You know, and then something transpiring where now there's a problem, and I whether or not it's downsizing or a myriad of a lot of different things,
sure.
The threat, if not the loss of that job, and also how it affects my character, and trying to fight for something that now I'm very frustrated and don't trust. There's also that underlying part where how vile it feels to try and claw for something that you are now truly unhappy with because you don't trust it, but you don't know what else to do.
Right.
Then you lose the thing and you're scrambling around. What now? And you load yourself back up in that cycle just for another shot.
Bruh.
So for me, protecting my peace and breaking the cycle and everything else, a large part of that was becoming an entrepreneur and defining my hours, defining my choices, defining my direction, as opposed to having others, set those down for me. Now, it hasn't been an easy road by any means doing that, but there is a certain level of freedom that I have where things that I experienced before, it's not like that. There is definite different levels of stress when you're doing this thing.
This thing, qualify, what's that mean?
The entrepreneurial business, the going out on your own, you're your own boss, you're your own CEO, you make your own time. But at the exact same time, I'm not getting that phone call about we don't need you and 40 others like you in the office anymore. We are changing a direction and you're not going with us. There's been
there. Go ahead.
There's been an accusation and we need to bring you in for an investigation. Even though we know you wouldn't do this, we still need to do this for HR and paperwork reasons and blah, blah, blah. And I don't have to deal with any of that.
Somebody praise dance with me. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
And every time it gets hard, I reminded myself, those are things that I don't have to put up with.
Bless up. And you did speak on the action of it. Dallas shared more of like the thought or the perspective. And I will ask you, Dallas, what action is to be taken, from that? Because from what you shared, that perspective, when someone finds themselves in that moment, what is the action that moves them out of that part?
So I think it starts with perspective. Okay, am I truly blocked, or did I give that away? And then what is in my control? Like, what is in my control? Because that original thought is around someone took something from me. And that may be the case. But what is in my control? What can I do? Right. And to what Scott was saying, becoming an entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur on the side for a long, long, long time. And the opportunity, arises to make a change. And again, it's about what is in my control. What can I do? And making sure that I've done all I can do. So should it fall, I've done all I can do. You don't look back with regret.
I think, and burn the boats. You know what I mean? Like that comes to mind. Burn the boats, because Scott, I love what you were sharing when you were talking about or offering the different ways that folks come to cut you loose. Is a short version of it. I was giggling in my head because I'm like, bro, I have been privy to every scenario that you mentioned. Like, oh, I remember that conversation. I remember being pulled in and questioned about the people who were having sex on the table on the other side of the room that I was in. But I had my headphones in. I was eating my food. I was behind something was blocking me. Right, I couldn't see them. And the camera shows me walking in. I be minding my business, y'all. I do my job. I be about my business. I promise you, I saw none of the above. And they were like, you were in the same room. What do you do? I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I can't help you. Period. And I'm thankful that I didn't, because that's something to see at work, isn't it? How about that? But anyhow, it truly is a trade. Like you're still having to deal with the stresses of growth. You're not able to rely on a company and their positioning, their progress, their XY extras, whatever, right? But finding a means of building your own is still a must, right? It's still a must. Go ahead.
I think it's a bit deeper than that, if I can.
Talk to me. And this is a jump in conversation. Consider
Okay.
it double Dutch whenever you're ready. Go ahead.
So for me, and I don't know if Dallas would agree with this as well, but for me, it's not just changing over where the source is, right? But redefining, because not only from work, but also from people who were in my life, the definition of me was being given. Okay. Who I was based on where I was working, who I was around, what everybody else said, right? And how everybody else was comfortable with me until they were no longer, then they could redefine, right? When I take ownership,
right,
not only of my business, but my life, myself, my relationships, this, that, and the other, I get to make that definition.
Yeah.
And that's a whole, and nobody else gets to put the frame around that box, because I'm the one who puts that.
I love that. And I'm giggling because that's literally, that's other words of what I meant when I was sharing. Like, you get these titles, you're giving these titles, and you're this, and you're head that, or you're X, Y, Z, and then magically it's changed. And I had, you know what came to mind when you were sharing that was Grand Poobah High Muck Muck. Yeah, so one of our dear lovely friends, Evangelist Debrea, what's Debrea's last name?
Bowman.
Okay, Evangelist Debrea Bowman, awesome woman, also a part of my mastermind, as is Scott, as is Dallas. So this one particular day we were in there, and she always says woman of God, because she really truly is woman of God, beautiful. And he came in one day, he was like, oh, it's the Grand Poobah, the High Muck. He called her like 4 or 5 different names. It was so cute. It was such a wonderful title. She's like, I'm keeping that one. So it was great. Yeah, it was such a sweet moment. It was very funny. But it matters how we define ourselves. Like, it matters who you decide you are, step one. But let's even get it clearer here. And this is kind of where I want to pour a little salt and water. Even when you enter whatever position it is, and you take on whatever role and title it is, if it is not a company that you own and that you run, there's such a need for a layer of clarity. This is the role you're fulfilling. It is not you. And I really find that a lot of people, we transverse these states of being and states of identity so very easily, i.e. mom, you know what I mean? Wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, lovers, however you want to call it, business partners, all of those things, and forget to be ourselves. And I really think that there's such health and wisdom in maintaining your self identity as you fill the roles, whatever roles they are, right? Your eternal roles, mom, right? Dad, eternal roles. Same time, some of these other roles are very transitional. And I believe that if we could really keep a highlight, a clarity on these roles, you know what I mean? Being the roles and fulfilling them and still maintaining who we are and not attaching our worth to those things. Oh my God, I think we would be a healthier society. And I'm throwing it to Dallas. I see you moving. What's your thoughts on that?
So yes, as far as not taking worth. Now, in the previous position I had, I took a lot of pride in not just my role, but the organization I was involved with and the mission and all of that. What I saw then, and what you see in every team, is people naturally put who they are into whatever it is they're doing. Absolutely. That's why you can have 2 or 3 people with the same position and they do it all very differently. True. So who I am as an encourager, who I am as someone who mobilizes people's callings, who I am as an encourager, as as a coach. I show up who I am as an intercessor, as a priest, as a woman of God. It shows up no matter what I'm doing.
Everywhere. And I feel like that's an eternal role. Do you not? Like, as priest, Because what Spirit brought to me way back in the day, which is why I move how I move, king and priest. So I feel like the king and priest never goes away. That was given by God. Nobody could take that away, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel that same way about your roles, your spiritual giftings in that. And I do agree, it definitely shows up in all that we do, because it is who we are. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. That is who we are. And in the eternal roles that God has assigned, I believe that is who we are. Everyone else, whether you're experiencing me as coach, as guide, as consultant, you know what I mean? See what I mean? Or social impact, blah, 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 whatever title that's over here. You're experiencing me as that under that title, but baby, this is who I am showing up in that role. Go ahead, tell me.
I agree with you, but at the exact same time, I see the problem with it.
Okay, girl.
Because in society,
sure.
And I'm glad that Dallas is talking about that level of clarity of what she brings to the table as far as who she is. But I feel a vast majority of people don't think about who they are, or have not had that awakening thought of who they are beyond what they do. If you think about how we've grown up, many of us have been, when are you going to get married? What career are you going after? What are you going to have kids? The whole nine. And that's laid out for you as who you are, not what you do.
Okay.
And the problem is, when you get into what you do, people wrap themselves in it without realizing how much of themselves they're bringing to the table. And that's why you hear about people at retirement 2-3 days after retirement are having heart attacks or killing themselves, let alone, if they lose a job, because they feel they've lost themselves.
Yeah. And that's my point. That is that's what I'm hoping to help folks kind of create peace around. And we'll somewhat transition into that side of the conversation, because I really would love to hear from you guys. If you were to sit down and plan, you're doing a framework, you're doing a plan for a client who's come to you and said, hey, I need peace, progress, positioning, and access. If you were to sit with them, or not even access, don't even do the access point, do the action. So peace, progress, position, and action. How would you mobilize that person? And I'll give you a point A for them. A point A for them is they are lamenting loss of something they helped create, and now it's no longer available. They don't have access to it or the people, and they're lamenting all of that. Peace, progress, positioning, and action. Okay. What is your action plan for them to go forward? Keep it on this side of your paywalls, but answer that question for me, because if folks want to get on the other side of your paywalls, they're going to have to call you for that. So go ahead. Dallas. If you're happy and you know it's on your face, go ahead.
It wasn't fully. Okay.
Are you still chewing? You want to throw it under the bus instead?
Yeah.
Tag. Scott, you're it.
All right. Peace, progress,
position and action.
Position and action, and they're lamenting a loss.
Okay, let's take it. Let's make it real crystal clear. Let's make it this. Oh, you got it already? Okay, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Make it real crystal clear.
I was gonna say, think of a certain place that we were, because the messages that came up on my phone were.
Okay. I'm gonna pretend it's you, if you don't mind. Is that?
Gang, let's go.
Okay. So, you're the client.
Okay.
First thing you need.
Okay.
First thing you need is peace about it.
Okay.
So there are two paths I want to take with you. First of all, you have every right to mourn the loss of a thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you have to actively mourn the loss. Part of that actively mourning of that loss is the letting go. It's not climbing on top of the coffin and screaming, "Wow, Lord!" It's the letting go of the thing. The act, right, exactly.
I love it.
you have, and even if it means you have to have a ceremony, a service, a thing, if you want to take some
Iron? Oh no, sorry.
if you want to burn some leaves to some, I don't know, unbudded apples or something. I don't know why.
Oh, did you say that?
I don't know why. If you want to have a ceremony, but the purpose of it, once again, is about letting go. The other side of that piece, and I learned this through, and I don't know if you want me to say their name on here, but through a course I took.
Okay.
And it was profound but controversial. But I'm going to say it here. Nothing in and of itself matters
At all.
So in saying that, what I'm saying is we load the emotional and every other value into a thing to make it matter as much as it does for us, whether or not it's high or low. That's giving you the power back to remind you this only matters as much to you as you want it to, which also means you can allow it to matter less as quickly as you want or as little as you want over time. That kid that wants that thing for Christmas, it matters until they unwrap the present, and then by February they can't even find the toy anymore and they don't care. So
dang.
I'm just being real about it. So that's what I would do for peace with you, first of all.
Not my kids, they yell me. Go ahead. Still playing with it 3 years later. Click, click, bing, bing. Go ahead.
So when you get to mourn, but you also have to, you put that mourning in perspective of how much power, how much value did that thing really have for you, and that you're putting into it. Now, progress.
Okay.
A lot of us get stuck on the progress thing because we thought we were going somewhere based on where we were at. Okay. And we want to get back on that hamster wheel so we can get back to that place and get further without ever considering how much of that was you as opposed to how much of that was actually the place you were at. In other words, progress.
Okay.
Where do you want to go? Were you caught up going with a thing just because that's where you were, or were you going somewhere? Were you going somewhere?
Did you have your own defined destination? Is that what we're saying? Okay, fine.
Right. And now, if you have your own defined destination, why do you need anybody else to get you there? If you know where you're going.
I hope you'll take a note. Go ahead.
If you don't have your own defined destination, that's why you got caught up with that group to begin with. So this is its own self-fulfilling answer for yourself to figure out, do you know where you're going? Or
do you know where you're going to?
And
do you know the things in life?
Once you have that progress of the compass position, once you have the compass position, knowing you then in turn can make progress.
The compass, let's go. Go ahead. That's true.
Now to position. That's the third one, correct?
Yes. Positioning.
Okay. Positioning. So positioning can be looked at. You okay? Okay. Lord have mercy.
I'm listening.
Well, positioning not only can be looked at as how you're going to get there, but also looked at as where you're going to. So if you want to look at it from the former, where you need to be in certain level of position to be able to get there, okay. It's just the actual acknowledgement of, okay, to get from here to there, I need a degree, I need a license, I need a certification, or I need a whatever. Okay, fine. We know what we need to do to get there now. Why aren't we getting it done? Let's go ahead and get it done. If it's about the position of where you're getting to, we have a target. Okay? Because it doesn't mean a lot if you're getting a license to be a nurse or to be an anesthetician or to be anything if you don't have a goal of where you want to take that. Okay?
Unless you're one of those overachievers that just want it because you want it.
You can have more degrees than a thermometer, but at some point you got to take a temperature.
Ooh, go on, repeat that.
Mic drop.
I hope y'all listening. I hope you're listening closely.
And now the last part you gave was action. Okay.
Action. As Dr.
So
Stacy, who I love, says it, action, action despite the distractions. Go ahead.
exactly.
Yep.
So what I would finish with you as my client is this. What has happened to you has happened to you. It is not happening now and will not happen going forward. The only
if you
thing
are wise, go ahead.
No, it won't happen going forward because we can't travel back in time. You know, what has happened has happened. The only thing that can happen now going forward is what you choose to happen. We have now cut off anyone else that you could blame, anyone else that could trick, anyone else that this, that, and the other. You are now unto yourself. We've had the ceremony. We've gotten the trajectory. We've gotten the path. We have the target. What do you want to do? Because I can't even manifest it for you. I can't even act it for you. I already got my own life and breath. I'm working on that. What do you want to do? At the end of the day, it's about whether or not at this moment, with everything laid out in Lego before you, are you ready to take that step? Because there's nothing more that I can do except show you the water. It's up to you to drink. I'm not going to call you a horse.
So, thank you for your client services. Go ahead and send me the invoice.
I am.
Haha. No. And I'll share my perspective from the other side. Okay, Rebound Coach, is you ready?
Yes.
You ready to help the peoples?
Yes. I appreciate Scott. I loved all of your responses. You was preaching and dropping mics, and you should pass around a collection plate. I know you said invoice, but you know,
collection plate. You're right.
Collection plate. So I appreciated all of that. And what I would say is, for peace is a spiritual currency.
Okay.
You know, it's not something. Now there's strategy all day, right? But when we talk about, we don't do what we know. We know what to do. We don't do what we know because of the internal work that isn't done. And not that we haven't done work before.
Okay.
That work we've done before has brought us to where we are. If there's still a gap, okay, this is where we start. Now, I serve as priest and I do ceremonies. So that literally is where I would begin serving someone who wants peace. Okay. Now, we need to define chaos. What is the chaos? What are we running out of? What do we need to get silenced and quiet? And I would complete a sacred ceremony with someone who was seeking peace. That's where we would start spiritually. As we progress, after we've done some spiritual work, or as we're doing spiritual work, progress. So it's the same. It's very intuitive. All right, I want to define progress. Well, where are you? And where would you like to be? Right?
Ding, ding, ding.
We have a point A. What is the point B? Right? And I think there's a lot of struggle with, well, I want to go here, 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 and there, and there, and there, and also there.
Mercy.
Like, okay, but what's
rabbits and cats?
Not C, D, E, F, and G. What's point B? Like, we're just going to focus on this little gap here, right? Just going to get to point B. Right. So we're developing a timeline. I'd like to get to point B by this day and time. Okay. Once we have a timeline, we're going to mark milestones. What are the steps in between? Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, when we get to a milestone, how are we going to celebrate that you got to the milestone?
Party.
Yeah. So setting up rewards in there. That's what I would do for progress. So we have not just a mental idea of what progress could and should be. We have something written,
tangible,
of what progress could and should be, and something shareable. Write the vision, make it plain, post it up.
Calendar.
It may run.
Right.
Okay.
That's it. I'm loving it. Keep going.
Position. So position made me think about internal and external labels. Because we talked about titles a bit, and position, I imagine, as how close I am to a thing, how far away I am to a thing, what access. So you mentioned access. What access do I have to something that I want, right? Okay. So that made me think about labels, because we have more control over these items. than we choose to acknowledge, because it means much more work. If I'm in control,
Do
I
you
have to.
think that it's always to the point of choosing to acknowledge, or do you think that some folks actually may not see that they have that access?
It doesn't take much.
Okay.
It doesn't take much unraveling to be like, oh man, that is my fault, right? Like it doesn't take much. So to me, that doesn't mean we don't know. It means we don't want to know. We don't want to acknowledge that, because that also means I have to take responsibility. And it's much easier to say I'm a victim of circumstance.
Wow.
It's much easier. That is human nature. So I do think it's a lack of acknowledgement, and it takes just 1, 2, 3 questions. Well, who did that? Who did that thing that got you in that place?
That's
And
the
who did
mommy.
that place?
That's the mommy cheat code, the mom and dad cheat code. Go ahead.
It really, really is.
It really
But
is.
we all have to say, I did put my hand in the cookie jar. Like,
And them cookies
that was
good.
me. So, but the beauty is, when we take the responsibility, we also take our power back, and we can choose. Right. Okay, I choose to say that I can't do it, or I choose to say that I will do it. Right. That is our decision. And so positioning is just that. Let's talk about our internal and external labels. Let's talk about, hey, did you enjoy that position? Tell me why, and tell me why you can't get everything you liked about that differently. Right? Bingo. So that's what I would do as far as position. And then action. So in progress, we did our timeline. We have something visual, so we know what the steps are. Action is not knowing the steps, but making sure you're accountable. Because again,
I'm rolling. Wait a minute, what?
We're in January.
Not knowing the steps.
We're in January 14th. I think quit day was the 11th or 12th, something like that.
Saturday.
People quit their resolutions. Because
Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day. Because there was no accountability. That's the major key. Like I said, we often know what to do, but we're not doing what we know because of that internal work. And the only reason the internal work is a struggle is because, again, if nobody's watching me, I'm just going to slip into old habits. I'm going to slip into love hungers. I'm going to slip into lazy, because that's normal. Path of least resistance, homeostasis, everything we're wired for, right? The growth is going in the opposite.
Let's title it properly: dysfunctional homeostasis, just so we're clear, because I don't want folks thinking that you know what I mean. It is dysfunctional homeostasis. It's not just you being at rest, you being at ease. It is truly dysfunctional. It's just a comfortable dysfunction.
Okay, comforting. Yes, absolutely. So everything we're wired for. So we're wired for that path of least resistance. And choosing resistance is not easy, and you cannot succeed by yourself. That's just not a thing. That we're not just it's not a thing.
Made to.
Yeah. So we are made to interdepend, and that generally involves, if you're going to be successful, that involves a professional of some sort. That's a coach, that's a teacher, that's a mentor, that's a therapist, that's a professional.
That's somebody who knows what you want to do. They've already known it and done it. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And pushing further, getting your money involved. I was speaking with an aspiring author, and she said, well, I don't have time to do this book, and I just have so many responsibilities. And I said, well, I wrote my book in 45 days as a single mom who just got out of a life-threatening divorce with 2 kids. And I was working. And she's like, so I have no excuse? I didn't say that.
Not with me, at least. I'm saying to your phrase. You got no excuse with me. You can have some excuses, but
the difference was not like I wasn't busy, right?
Right.
Gosh, I was busy. I had accountability. I had a professional
commitment.
I had my dollars involved in the process as well, because I'm not going to quit. I done paid all this money, right? It matters. Yeah. It matters. You get what you pay for.
That's true. I love that. Thank you. So you got 2 incredible sets of instruction, right? So for the wise listener, you go back to Melikia K, Courtney, and you will replay, and you will take your notes. And not only will you take your notes, you will organize them so that they're suitable for yourself, and you will put them into the mystical magical action. I am going to answer the question that I asked you guys. You can hear me? I say no. Oh, you can. Okay. I thought you were saying louder. Okay.
No. I was
sign language.
scratching.
Thought he was throwing up gang signs and everything. Okay. I know.
Lord,
Why not? I think that's what the Lord be like. Why not? When we ask why, like, why not? What's the problem? I don't get it. Okay, so since I was Scott's client, and we have some situations that we know of in common, I'm gonna speak to it from the. If you're petty and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, great. So, if okay, wait. So, come back. You're fading away.
You're falling out.
Okay. I'm really not a petty human like that, but we must be petty today because I took a year and learned how. So you think I don't use my skills? It took me a year to figure it out. I've learned.
Does it matter that I'm drinking apple juice?
Oh, I'm gonna be over here. Behave. So nothing to do with me. All right. So the fast forward is, in that time, I'll walk through what I had to do with that particular thing that's on mine. The first thing I had to really realize was what happened. I had to situate the story in my mind because some things happened so fast and I didn't see it coming. Some stuff I had been experienced, so I was familiar with that end of it, but I wasn't expecting the things that came through the blind side. So what I would say is there are some times where you do not see it coming. Right, you may see this coming and your eyes are trained this way. You were braced and ready for the impact, but then boom, and then it's a whole lot of other things, right? So the first thing I had to do was to remind myself. I love how you pointed out, Dallas, that it is a peace work, that it is a spirit work, right? Peace being a spiritual working. I also understand that the transition into tangible is through the practice, right? We are to be practicing our peace. And I'll draw a quick connection backwards. When I had that issue with stalking, I had a stalker, y'all. When I had that issue and developed the finger movement, God and I are one, it was a matter of putting a practice to the reminding thought. Like I had a thought in place to remind me. I had an action in place to practice it and to connect the thought to, right, to pull that thought right onto the tangible reality and put it into practice. So I began to practice my peace, and my peace was fully anchored in who sovereign divine God is. That was my anchor. You got to find your anchors when it comes to peace. I do know some of my listeners may not believe in sovereign divine God. Okay. Not going to fight you on it, but what I'm going to say is I do. And you need an anchor. Okay? Get one. And I pray that one day you discover that your anchor truly is sovereign divine God. How about that? But peace, in order to have peace, please go and study and understand the etymology of the word peace. You will be surprised. You'll be surprised and you will be enlightened and you will move accordingly. So be diligent in your understanding. It is not for us to go just, oh, God, bless me with peace. It don't work that way. When you get to praying for peace, guess what pops up? All kind of situations where you get to practice being peaceful. So let me shortcut you through the stupid, and not saying that you're stupid, but through the stuff that can come. Let's just cut through that part and begin to practice the peace that we have. What we offered as small as a grain of mustard seed, your faith like that. Okay, well then I got to applying it because I'm that guy. And I was like, all right, if I have just a little bit of peace, I can exercise that peace into a muscle. If I can see a little bit of a cloud, I could pray that cloud, and I strengthened my peace with every thought that would come of loss and sadness and pain or just being mishandled. I reminded myself of the peace that I have, and I exercised the peace around me, and I began to add things to my mind and to my mouth so that I could speak it as well, right? And then to my body so that I could act it as well. So my be, do, and have were all connecting. You better be taking notes. Okay, great. So that was my piece of things. Peace is a practice, is a practice, is a practice. You must practice it. You can sit up there and think on it all day if you want. Now, even being still in my meditation, that is a practice. I'm still working it out. sitting still. I may be fully in my mind, having a full-on conversation with the spirit. At the same time, I'm working that out in practice. Okay, progress. So the progress for me in that situation, I felt like my progress was being blocked because I had put a good body of work into building XYZ, and my progress was blocked. I felt like, oh, now we have a blockade in the progress. And then as I got to thinking about it, I was like, okay, here's the thing. I know I am water. I don't know about y'all, but you really can't block up water for too long. Like, you can dam it up, but water's going to find a way. And I find that when it comes to things like this, when you find yourself having loss from things that you've built or being denied, yada, 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 again, my recourse was sovereign divine God. Like, okay, you tell me what the lick is, because this is what I was working to do. These are the people that I was serving, and this is who I am and what I'm going to do. So where's the progress in that? Measurement. You both talked about measuring. I had to sit and look of what all I accomplished and what skills were exercised and used and strengthened during that time. Many tools, many skills, many moments of love, many moments of creativity, many moments of building, many moments of structure, many moments of connecting. Like, there was many. And like you said, Scott, earlier, who's to say that you can go and recreate all of the above? Like, it didn't discontinue. And I think that was a matter of the mind. And the mind at the time, what was occurring was there was a discontinuation. Like, it was just like discontinued. Like, they don't even send in the 3 CDs for 99 cents no more. Discontinued. Yo, that's how it felt. Like, no more MTV, you feel? So that's how it occurred. Like, no more music. You know, only there's like 13,000 other channels and stations that play music, you feel? So moving into that progress of it, the progress was I did begin to create my own. Hallelujah. And like you were saying, Scott, there was so much less stress and drama and ick and showboating. I was just like, this is amazing. Like, the weight, and you don't see it all the time. The weight is being packed on. But for those of us who just keep going, you know what I mean? Okay, this is this. Now we're doing this crazy change. But especially in the workforce, you get used to the crazy changes. Like, you just implement worker P. They said, do it this way. I've been going right all this time for the last 5 years. Now you want me to go left? Fine. I'm going to go left because you say go left. You feel me? So sometimes we can move into that. But the progress for me was stepping from under the weight of that ick and letting it all go. I saw something that I thought was so cruel earlier today. Insensitive. This woman had posted on Instagram about her home. She was standing outside of her home that had burned down in these fires over in LA. And her daughter was in tears. And the daughter's like, that's my car. That's my daughter's car seat. You can see the ash, y'all, the ash. And somebody in the chat wrote, what a perfect exercise and disconnecting from possession. And I was just like, wow. Insensitive. And at the same time, I understand it. Like, that's a horrible thing to go through. Absolutely horrible. And I would never say something that insensitive and cruel to someone who's lost, quote unquote, everything. You know what I mean? Quote unquote, everything. What I could do was, in that moment, thank God that the mom and the daughter were not in that house and their ashes were not being collected. You know what I mean? So in the context of the conversation that we're having, yes, that house burned down, but I am not in ashes. You know what I mean? I was not left in ashes. And I could take every last bit of those skills and put them into my own. And that is progress. You know what I mean? That is wisdom. Glean and get your gold. You know, you get your gold from those situations and move forward. Make a choice, choose a path, create a path, and get your butt in motion. That is progress. Now, Dallas was talking earlier, and for those who didn't catch it, that's the smart way of progress. SMART. Go look it up. Ain't nobody about to break it down for you. Let me mean it. But begin those measurable goals. Yeah, I ain't doing it. Go look it up. All right. But you put that into your practices. Build your goals around it. Knock yourself out. Positioning. I find that I am able to meet the most amazing people on the planet. Like, it's wild. If I find that I'm a magnet to amazing people who have beautiful, huge hearts and serve people. And it's crazy. It's wild when I sit and have some of these conversations. And I find that my positioning is always spiritually guided. Don't matter who I sit next to, or I sit down, or somebody comes sit next to me. It don't matter. It's like always divine. So your positioning, and this is just a measure of comfort. Your positioning, yes, you have to do with it. All right. Yes, you choose where you are going to go. Yes, you choose when. Yes, you choose your goals. Yes, you sit down and write all them lovely plans out about what it's going to be from A to Z. And I think the scripture says God laughs. I'm almost sure that's what it says. God laughs. And that's freaking hilarious to me. But it is for us to make plans. It is for us to make goals. It is for us to make progress. And same time, it's fully for us to understand that our positioning, it lies inside of us and outside of us. I'll say it that way. We're co-creating around here. You get to be willing or unwilling. And when you're positioning, what are you positioning for? What is the positioning? And you talked about the point A to point Z, and it does apply in that as well, right? What are you positioning for? What do you want? What do you want? And then that's when you're able to go in and understand, what is this goal? What is the time frame? What are the milestones? And what are the tasks that I need to make sure, So it's I went through all of those mystical, magical steps. I had fussed to God about my peace, my progress, my my peace, my progress, my positioning, and access. And I had to giggle in the reality of what you shared. And I will say, Landmark, I love Landmark for a lot of reasons. They have some awesome language and teach a lot of the same things that I teach. That's fine. But they have a lot of clear languaged explanations. I'll say it like that. And I think that's so freaking helpful. So if you guys haven't tasted Landmark, go get a taste of their form. It's delicious. All right. And it is simple, right? I do my best and not say easy, because I don't think that's fair. It's not easy to possess what we're talking about here, but it's possible. Like, it's doable, and you have no excuse. Like, and I literally they fed y'all. I don't have to go back and say the same things that they said. I'm not going to do that. We're adults. Go hit the replay and get them notes, and then configure the puzzle all together and make it plan and move it forward. I have enjoyed having you two with me. I just looked up at the time like, ooh, it's 58 minutes in. Is there anything else that you would like to share on this topic at all? And I'll give you guys each 1 minute apiece. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you for the invite, and thank you for being awesome. I would like to publicly thank you for making my birthday awesome.
Yay.
I will say this, because listening to both you and Dallas gave me this thought, and I'll close with this for myself. I think a lot of us find ourselves in the situations that you have described, where we have described, where we're, in those situations where we're losing so much and this, that, and the other, and, doing the cycle again and again, because we find ourselves using our gifts to build spaces for others in hope they will invite us in to room they will make for us, as opposed to using the gifts we have to build spaces for us and let those who are meant to come there. Okay. It's I would love to, I think we could talk about that for a long period of time on another thing, but that's the thought it gave me.
Okay.
Because I'm just glad that we can have this conversation today and really hopefully help some people who are hearing what we're saying.
Yep, my replayer's gonna get it. Eyes listening, ma'am.
I love this. Thank you again for having me on. Thank you for this really important conversation. I believe it will encourage lots of people. It has encouraged myself. So that's number one. What I kind of thought of is when Scott was talking about working so hard for building someone else's thing. I like the show Undercover Boss. I don't even know if it's still current, but I like to watch an episode or two.
That's a fun show.
I really enjoy it. And I'll tell you why, because I've always identified with the person that works hard and was just maybe unseen. And so the idea, the fantasy, if you will, that someone with access would come along and see my hard work and reward me handsomely, right? That's a very tempting fantasy. And what I would encourage and what I would say is that there is one with access, sovereign divine, as you call him,
God,
who sees and has seen all of the work, all of the sweat equity, all of the labor, all of the integrity, every wise choice, and even the unwise choices that we've made along the years. And his reward, he's coming quickly and his reward is with him. That's what I will say. And I'm going to stop.
Okay.
Right there.
Yay, man, on that. Yay, man. I have enjoyed having you both. I'm going to send you back downstairs and wrap up this conversation or this universe right quick. And I will meet you in the back. Thank you both. I'm so glad that you shared your time with me today. Thank you. I got Taco Tuesdays. I got you guys on podcasts like it's a rockin' Tuesday. I'm overly happy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got to send you downstairs. Downstairs. Okay, y'all. So a couple of things, like the thoughts were coming while we were wrapping up and closing. I'd like to offer that there is room to give yourself ease, because sometimes our peace, oh, this is so awesome. I just noticed my hair was doing fun stuff, and we're just going to leave it right there. Hello, hair. How about that? It is room for you to give yourself peace. All right. Regardless of what occurred, whether it was loss of employment, loss of a dream, loss of a project, whatever this loss is, if you feel like maybe you didn't see something or maybe you didn't do something, there is room for you to forgive you. There's room for you to forgive everybody else as well involved. Like, it does not have to be a spiritual death sentence. It doesn't have to be a physical death sentence. It doesn't have to be the death of dreams, the death of progress, the death of peace, the death of your action, the death of your access. You are breathing. You are breathing. And by the very life being in you, that tells me, so let it tell you the same story, that you have the breath of creation in you. And if you have the breath of creation in you, do the work to align with the creativity in you and begin to create something more suitable for yourself to live into. You know, create the dream. I will say I am Melikia K. Courtney, founder of Sanctuary Experience, and it has been the best choice for me ever. All right. So if you are someone who knows that this resonated with you and you may want to have a secondary conversation, you did see the reboundcoach.com. That's Dallas. If you resonated with Dallas, if you resonated with Scott, nope, I said it wrong. HeraldConsultingGroup.com. I remember HeraldConsultingGroup.com. Connect with them for further conversation. And some of their conversation comes behind paywall. Prepare thy pockets and put A. Okay, great. And what I will also say is, if you resonate with me and you'd like to work with me in this conversation area and further, or even outside of this conversation, and you know that you are ready just to grow. You want to grow. You know that it's time. You're primed. It's 2025 and you're ready. It's time to do that work. Let's work together. You can text me. What you're going to text is Coach Me. You're going to text it to 321 443 2495. That's where you're going to text it to 321 443 2495. And I'm going to send the mystical magical banner just so that you can screenshot if you need to. All right. You should also know that February 8th is a day of healing. It is Love Fest 2025. That is our third annual social impact project. And we are set to literally do that 24 hours virtually on the Clubhouse app. Download it if you don't have it. Join us there for a full day's worth of love and gratitude and healthy conversations. And I talked about practice. I'm big on that. Practicing the love that we want to experience. Gotta get that muscle up, babe. So let's connect on those things. Also, February 22nd, I'll be down in Miami performing. I am a spoken word artist, Lady Molotov in the building. And let's have some fun together. I believe in working together. I believe in playing together. And I'm quite mischievous, so you definitely want to play with me. All right. So, in a respectful manner, let's see. Is there anything else you need to know? I do have books available. Connect with me for those books that from the topic of domestic violence, healing from it, walking away from it, not staying in it, no, to poetry and fun and stories. So let me know what you like. If you'd like to communicate and have some feedback for the show, you can reach me at lifeissanctuaryxp@gmail.com. lifeissanctuaryxp@gmail.com. And what you can put in the subject line is episode 41 SXP MM365 podcast. Okay, and if you want it shorter, just put SXP podcast in that subject line, and it's Life is Sanctuary X, the letter X and P. Yep, at gmail.com. Okay, so we've been together for our time. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you had tacos as well. They were delicious. I'm gonna work on my leaning to the left and my itis. It's gonna be great. Beyond that, I'll see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at BLAST, because I go live on BLAST. Hey, if you haven't followed me and subscribed to my channel, go do that right now. Melikia K, Courtney. See you soon. Do.